It has been 8 months, 2 days ago, since my mom passed away, and I just still don't really feel normal. And that's okay. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I don't have an agenda. I don't have a script. I don't have a plan, which is typically how I live my entire life. No plan. Just vibes. I have wanted to share more about my journey with grief with you guys, but sometimes, I don't know. Trigger warning, honestly. Let's do a trigger warning period before this video. I am going to cover a few things that might be uncomfortable. I'm going to talk about death. It could get a little heavy, and if that is something that bothers you, or if you're squeamish or uncomfortable, feel free to skip this one. I will not take the slightest bit of offense. If you do, I love you just the same, and yeah, that's fine. But if you're ready to go on this ride with me and maybe talk a little bit more about the ins and outs of death, grief, and just the aftermath, then yeah, let's go. Let's go on this little journey together this afternoon. I just started a new job about 3 weeks ago maybe, after having taken almost 6 months off. No, 7 months really. After having taken about 7 months off after Mom died from working full time because I needed it. My mental health has been just, it's been a little bit of a struggle. Some days are better than others, but that's how mental health is. Nothing is linear, it comes in waves. But yeah, a lot of new things have started. I'm not going to lie. I've been feeling a little down and a little depressed after having maybe not, I don't know. I feel like I didn't take advantage of that time off like I should have in order to focus more on social media and my content creation, which is the most important and wonderful thing in my life. But at the same time, there were days when I couldn't get out of bed, and I think that's okay to give yourself that grace, just to do what you can with what you can. I'm just kind of taking it day by day at this point. I haven't been focusing on YouTube. I haven't honestly had the energy, and I haven't had the creativity. I haven't had any ideas. And that's honestly kind of why. What if I've been talking this whole time and there's just like lipstick all over my teeth? That scares me sometimes thinking about that. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. But yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to make this video today. I woke up and I was like, man, I feel like I haven't been putting that energy toward doing anything to further my career. I feel like I really honestly wanted to make social media, I wanted to make content creation a full-time thing for me that could sustain me and let me do what I love for a living. But alas, that is not always the case for everyone. And I think for me, maybe even in my mental state. Sorry. We got a Soda Stream, and let me tell you something. Best purchase ever. Yeah, so I haven't put as much time or effort, I feel like, into making it a full-time career as I could have, but I just wasn't able to at the time. And now that I have kind of had to go back to work, I mean, you gotta make money, capitalism, baby. I just feel, I don't know. I feel stuck, and I feel a little sad. I feel like I'm not doing what I'm meant to be doing or supposed to be doing. I feel like I'm just kind of clocking in and out at a job that just does not mean shit to me. I have absolutely no pride in what I'm doing or any care at all. As soon as I clock in and sit down, all I'm thinking about is videos I could make or ideas, things that bring me joy. And bring other people joy. That's all I really care about. So I hope that one day I'll be able to make it into something bigger or better, or an opportunity will come along that I'll be able to take advantage of, and I will be able to share my love of nostalgia and everything that comes along with it with the rest of the world, like I really want to do. But for right now, I am working at a job that I used to work at. It's a place that I used to work at. I'm not going to go into details, but it's very much like kind of a glorified administrative secretary-ish job. Not in like a fun Lonnie Andrews WKRP kind of way, but in a sort of sad, my life has no meaning kind of way. But it's fine. It is what it is. We're just going to keep moving. It's a paycheck, and that's what I have to keep telling myself. Getting those paychecks will allow me to do more things and move forward with what I want to do, right? Right. But anyway, I digress. What I really wanted to talk about today, the only thing that I really felt like talking about, because I wanted to make I have this weekend off. I wanted to make a magazine video maybe, or just do another something for YouTube, but I haven't had it in me. I haven't had anything witty to say. I haven't had any of that in me lately. And I was like, the only thing that I've kind of had in me has been a lot of dealing with the fallout of grief that comes months later after someone has died. And you're sort of left with the proverbial ashes of, what once was and who once was. And the rest of the world keeps going, which is fine because that's what it's meant to do. And everyone keeps going. That's not to say that I don't have the best support system on the planet, because I do. I genuinely do. My fiance, my best friend, my aunt and uncle, my extended family, my followers, so many friends. I have had an amazing support system. But there's a part of grief that you sort of have to process on your own. It's very internal, especially when you just lose someone that is incredibly close to you. And God, losing a parent has just been something I'd never have wrapped my head around. And it is definitely something that you kind of have to tackle on your own. And, it's weird because, I don't know, maybe I should kind of go back to the beginning and explain things a little bit in a shortened way that's appropriate for a YouTube video and not like a 2-hour docuseries. I don't know. My mom, her name was Patty. She was born Patty Thomas, and she was born in the mountains. That's where I was born too. And she was just like a light. She was very mischievous, very funny, very engaging. There was something about her that just everyone loved. If you met my mom, you just loved her. She was so funny, and she made you feel like she just had known you forever, and she just had so much love to give. There was never a moment when she wasn't just giving 110% of her energy to everyone around her. I wish that she had given a fraction of that energy to herself, but don't we all? I wish there's probably people that wish that I would give that energy to myself that love me. You know what I mean? We always want what's best for other people sometimes instead of ourselves, but I think in a way that's just part of human nature. It's easier to take care of other people sometimes than it is ourselves. But she was also a wild child, and she grew up in the 80s. She graduated high school in 79, but really was in her wild 20s when she had me in 1983. And looking back on it and having talked to, family members that I'm close to that can shed a little bit more light on situations that happened, she definitely was not ready to be a mom when I came into the world, but it did not stop her from, oh, hello, there's my cat, it's fine. It did not stop her from trying to be the best mother that she could, despite challenges that she had, which my mom was an addict. She was an alcoholic, and she had dealt with drug addiction on and off from honestly starting from a fairly young age. And I kind of suffered the brunt of that when I was little. I was actually taken away from her by my grandmother when I was, I guess, around 5, maybe. And, my grandmother actually helped raise me and honestly really kept me until my mom was able to get herself together. And my mom getting herself together was also not linear. It came in waves, as if you love an addict or if you've ever been close to an addict, you know that that is the case with addiction. It comes in waves, and it can change from day to day, month to month, year to year. Addiction is a disease. Alcoholism is a disease. It's not just cut and dry that someone should want to be better and can just quit. It's not that simple. And God, if that's your mind, for your frame of mind, then I really urge you to do some more research and educate yourself on addiction. But I digress once again, which I am prone to do. Anyway, I also watched, my mom got remarried after she split with my dad. It was very short-lived situation with her and my dad. She got remarried to my stepdad in 1990, I guess. And so I had still been living with my grandmother at that time. And eventually, once my mom got remarried to this guy, they had their own place. My mom had been visiting me, of course, at my grandmother's house, but she just was not allowed to have custody, which I think is really funny now because, I don't know, I feel like back then, my grandmother was just like, no, you're not taking her back until you get your shit together. And my mom was like, all right. There was no court involved whatsoever. My grandmother was just like, get it together. But finally, I was allowed to go live with my mom and my stepdad in a town over. And my stepdad was also, lo and behold, an alcoholic and an addict, and also physically abusive. Also should have put a trigger warning for, yes, I will be briefly touching on domestic violence. So just a heads up in case that is something that you're uncomfortable with. Totally understandable. But as a young kid, I often saw, they were just on and off drunk almost every night. When they would fight, it was bad. And, I saw things that kids should not ever see or experience or deal with. And so that did, to a degree, get better. As I got closer to middle school and high school, it was always bad. Don't get me wrong. But it was better, slightly. I don't really know how to explain it. But the most stability that I ever experienced with my parents was probably when I was in high school. And I can't help but wonder if that is why I have such a soft spot for nostalgia from that time period. I'm sure if I were to really, do a deep dive into that, I'm sure that would have a lot to do with it. But, I'm very fond of that time period because my mom was really at her best. She had her shit together. She was working at a job that she really loved. And unfortunately, after high school and, God, almost up until the day she died, she really had sharp, ups and downs of sobriety. And it was mostly, I don't know if unsobriety is a word, but it was mostly off the wagon. And eventually she did divorce my stepdad, which it was a win. I was super proud of her when that happened. He was incredibly physically abusive, and I think she had finally just had enough. And that really was the most proud I'd ever been of her. She left him and she was on her own. And there were some times during that period, because she left him in 2014, so from then until she died, there were some good things that happened with her. She found some jobs that she enjoyed. She experienced some things that she enjoyed and that I think that she deserved. But also there were just some bad things too, There just was. That's when her alcoholism just really had taken a hold of her. And I mean, that's eventually cut and dry what killed her. And all of this is to say that, especially with parents, I don't know, mother-daughter relationships they're hard. They can be hard. They can be complex. And in my situation, I don't know, there's so many good things, and then there are so many bad things that are very dark, and it makes for such a complex feeling, especially with loss and grief as we see it and experience it. And I had done a pretty good job over the past couple of years, maybe even the past decade, of really putting boundaries in place, because I knew that there were just so many times that Mom had put herself into situations that just broke my heart. And being hospitalized and me having to find her passed out and call 911, it really puts you, in a place when you do love an addict and you see them destroying themselves. It puts you in a place where you either have to put these boundaries up to protect yourself, or you can get consumed. You can get eaten alive by the entire situation. And, I had to do that for myself, I felt like. And you know what, though? The really bittersweet part of it is that you can be really proud of yourself for doing that when they're alive. And the second they're gone, the regret sets in and the guilt. And I do plan on doing some therapy because I know that I need it after all of this. But yeah, man, you sit here and they're not here, and you think of all the things that you could have done, that you should have done. But in reality, you know that no matter what, and in my mom's case, sometimes they're hell-bent on destroying themselves. And unfortunately, you sort of have to witness that. And it sucks. It just sucks. And so there's this grief that's to be expected from losing someone that you love or losing a parent, combined with so many just shitty feelings, feeling guilty that you still feel anger toward this person or from things that may have happened in your relationship, but also at the same time, like, aching to hug them again. It's the weirdest feeling ever. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But my mom ended up succumbing to her alcoholism. The last time I spoke with her was when she had drunkenly FaceTimed me. Or she had sent me like a call. It's very like a mom thing to do. She accidentally called me on Facebook Messenger. And I remember looking at her, and I hadn't seen her for about a year at that point. She had come to see me during quarantine, and actually we had a really good time together. The last time I saw her, I guess, was like March 2020. And I remember we just watched movies and we cooked food together, and we just had such a good time. And that was the last time I saw her in person. And we hadn't really we didn't FaceTime or anything really. Like, we talked on the phone, but seeing her and seeing the decline that had happened, even in just that short period of time, was really gutting. And nothing like this has ever happened to me where, like it did that night, I knew when I was looking at her on my screen, I knew it was the last time I would see her alive. I just knew in my heart. I was like, this is it. This is it. And sure enough, I had not heard from her. It was 2 days after that. And I asked the police to do a wellness check on her. And they did. I was at work. I was working for Mac at the time, and I was on my lunch break. And I thought that they were just going to call me and say, hey, yeah, we found her. She's drunk. We're going to, probably take her to the hospital to give her a banana bag and sober her up and get her electrolytes right, and she'll be right as rain, da-da-da-da-da. Just like it had happened so many times before. But I was in the bathroom washing my hands, and my phone rang, and I picked it up, and it was just the detective, and, he very bluntly just we did find your mother and she is deceased. And it was like, you expect or you worry about these things, but when it happens, it's just like, what the fuck? And I don't even, from that moment, there are bits and pieces that I remember, but when I tell you I don't remember a lot of what happened, maybe even for like several months, I can remember bits and pieces, but I don't remember a lot. I remember getting off the phone with the detective and calling my fiance and just, he talk about a man that is just like an angel. My mom loved him. Oh my God. Everybody does. He's the sweetest. And he dropped everything. And I mean, that was it. I didn't spend another night alone in my apartment. We immediately just kind of moved me back to Winston-Salem because I was living in Charlotte at the time, which is about like an hour and a half away. I'd moved there for work and I was ready to come back anyway. Like my lease was up in a couple months, so I was planning on moving back. And my mom was super excited about me moving back, and I was excited to move back to be around her and to get to see her again. But that did not happen. Life has a way of just changing course sometimes. But yeah, he stepped up and he basically came and got me and he helped me through everything. My mom had apparently been on a bender in her apartment. She lived in a little 1-bedroom apartment by herself. And I don't really know details, and sometimes I'm glad that I don't, but from what the detective said, it looks like she had a medical episode, and I don't really know what that means. She could have had a GI bleed. She could have just passed out and fallen. The coroner's report said that she basically died from unsupervised fall from a standing height. And she fell in front of the door. And then there's the part of me that had to sit and wonder, was she trying to get up to answer the door when I sent the wellness check? Like, because I don't know, that's a whole other thing. The time of death, was very close to when I put the call in, so I don't know if she was getting up to answer the door and fell, and that's how she died. And then to sit with that, to wonder, was I responsible for that? That was hard. But fortunately, I have good people around me that did not let me go down that path. And we all know, that she would have died regardless the second she had gotten up anyway. I don't know. That's something that I still have so much unresolved trauma from. But my fiance Jacob, he really took care of everything as far as getting her cremated and handling a lot of the things that I just was too in shock to handle. But after, I will say, after a couple of days went by, I started, you kind of go into this weird mode after someone dies. And you're, because I was an only child. I was the sole person that had to, handle all of this, her estate. I really did sort of go into this mode where I was just go, go, go. I didn't have a lot of time, I don't feel to sort of properly grieve or process anything. I just had to get stuff done. I had to get, her apartment cleaned up. We had to get her moved out of the apartment. And we went in, the apartment complex had not even cleaned up where she died. And my best friend, Marie, and Jacob, they both would not let me go in the apartment. They cleaned up the blood. They cleaned up everything as good as they could. And I will forever be grateful for that, because if I had to go in and see that, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. So kind of processing all of that, getting everything done. Because, like, I had just moved myself, getting all my stuff from Charlotte and moving back in with him. And then we had to find a bigger place together. And we had to find a place for all of Mom's stuff. And, you're closing this door of everything. And getting rid of people's stuff, like getting rid of her stuff was just so hard. I kept a lot of, I tried to be as, I don't know, I tried to be as level-headed as possible and think, obviously I need to save the important things, but I couldn't save everything. I wanted to. But I've been able to kind of whittle it down a little bit over the last couple of months and really sort of like, I was finally able to throw her makeup away. I kept a few things, but, I don't need 3 bottles of her Lancome foundation. So I was able to throw that away. But it's been fucking hard. And I'm sort of in this place now where I have good days and bad days. Mostly good days, I will say. But then there's some days where I'll just be, I'll be driving somewhere. Everything's cool. I'm like listening to the radio. And then all of a sudden I just like have this vivid memory of her, or I think of something, or I think like, oh my God, I should call her. And it's just out of nowhere. And it's the craziest thing because suddenly you just feel like it happened all over again. I mean, it has knocked the wind out of me before. Just this feeling of grief where like I have to like bend over and catch my breath. Like it's insane. But there have been some good moments. I've been able to kind of maybe appreciate her for more than who I even knew her as. I'm able to appreciate her trauma and learn about it and realize that she was a human being just like I am with complex emotions and sadness that she was working through. And I don't know, it's been very eye-opening. It's easy to look at your parent almost sometimes as like not human. We I don't know. Sometimes we can put them on a pedestal or put them, maybe compartmentalize them and surely think that like they have no idea what I'm going through. We all go through the same things. And sometimes in a way as well, because I know that my mom felt a lot of guilt for the fact that she wasn't able to be there for me in ways that she wanted to be. She talked about that a lot, especially over the past couple of years, just how she was so sorry for everything that she had me put through when I was younger. And I know that she carried so much guilt. It's honestly allowed me to feel like she's with me in a way that maybe she never was able to be with when she was alive. And that makes me feel sometimes like so much more peace. But all of this is to say as well, and talking about my job earlier, like I'm sort of in this place where I don't know what I'm doing. I know that my content is something that means the entire world to me. Grief has sometimes made that difficult because the funny thing about losing someone is that memories you can have just had for years and held on to. Like, for example, I used to think about I could think about VH1 and just remember, pop-up video and the commercials and like the surreal life and music videos that used to be on. I could think of it in an objective way. I had really warm, happy memories from it. Well, then Mom died. And now when I think of VH1, I think about her curled up on the couch watching it with her little glass of Miller Lite and just slathered in her Curel body lotion and her little comfy clothes and maybe like her People magazine beside her and her just soaking in every ounce of behind the music. And it makes it painful. It makes it so painful. And I have been able to sort of channel her into like some videos that I've done where I really want to I want people to know her and I want to not let her death turn my memories into something just unbearable. I want to cherish those memories and really make it into, I don't know how to say it. I want to remember her in a positive light, and I want to celebrate her. I want to celebrate those memories. I don't want to think of the 90s and be just crushed, because the most important part of the 90s to me, my mom, and those memories that I have with her, just because they aren't there now, just because she's not here now, does not mean that every bit of that just has to be, tarnished. But it's a very difficult thing. It's a difficult journey. My mom made a TikTok before she died. She got on TikTok, she downloaded it. And when I hooked up her desktop computer for the first time, because she got it to because she was so supportive of what I was doing. When I plugged in her desktop, it was one of the first notifications was just basically she had notifications turned on whenever I posted, so she would see my new videos. And so I just want to make sure that I continue to do the content that I was doing and that she was really proud of me for. I want to keep celebrating her character in videos and her quirky things that she did in the 90s especially, that were just fucking hilarious and universal. It's important to me, and it would be important to her. Now, granted, I just don't know where my journey is going. I don't really know what's next for me. I want to continue making, I want to continue to make content. I want to continue to do these fun things, and that is, at the end of the day, my main goal. It's the one thing that I protect. I don't know if I'll have as much time to make that content now that I'm working. But I really just kind of wanted to share all this with you, because sometimes I feel like I'm so inconsistent with creating things, and it could just be because I'm having bad days or I just don't know what to say or do. And I'm really grappling with a lot of different emotions and just trying to figure out sort of where to go from here. And also too, I just sometimes feel I don't know, other people need to know that they're not alone. If you're going through any of this, or if you've experienced any of this, you're not alone. It sucks. It's not a club you want to be a part of, trust me. But it's good to know that you're not alone. It really is. And Mom wouldn't want me sitting around being I don't know, obnoxiously bummed out. She would want me to be doing shit. She would want me to be writing that book that she always was on me. She was like, you need to write a book. You need to write because you're such a good writer. You need to make, content about this or content about this. I want to make her proud. And I want to use her memory as an inspiration to do the things that I do and to create the things that I create. And I do plan on continuing to do that. This might be a little bit of a bump in the road, creativity-wise. Could be a little bit of a midlife crisis, but I won't let her down, and I won't let you guys down. I want to figure out a way to, I don't know, share what I want to share with everyone. And I want to thank you guys for being so supportive. I love you all so much. Let's get out there and do this. Everything's going to be fine, right? As my mom would say, everything is going to be hunky-dory. I love you guys so much. And next time I'm going to have a video that is not as heavy or haphazard or all over the place. But in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.